The Onion decided to tweet about Quvenzhané Wallis, and while they were tweeting about her, they, you know what The Onion's all about, right? It's satire. They joke around, and the tweet said something that got people very, very upset. They tweeted, and I'm going to just read it verbatim. Everyone else seems afraid to say it, but that Quvenzhané Wallis is kind of a cunt, right? So that's a bit much when you're talking about a 9-year-old actress.
Yeah.
And I get that it's a joke. I totally understand that. They don't actually think this 9-year-old is. Everyone was talking about how sweet and how adorable and how talented she is. But at the same time, look, it's a 9-year-old, and just don't do it. Don't do it. It's in bad taste. I think that it's a bad idea. And they took it down an hour later, by the way.
Yeah, although it had already been retweeted like 500 times.
Yeah, it's always, just leave it. Just leave it. Everyone's retweeted it. Everyone is talking about it. An hour later is way too late to delete it.
I think it's okay to delete it because it shows that you're somewhat remorseful. Like if you're actually trying to delete it to hide it, it's the internet, buddy. It's not going to happen. I will say that my feelings on this have changed over the course of the day as I've read more and more people's perspectives on it. I will say, at the risk of getting attacked by you guys, I think that it's genuinely funny because it's so obviously ridiculous. Like nobody thinks that she is a cunt, if we're just going to say the word. Nobody thinks that. Like if they were to use a word that actually could, like she's annoying or entitled or arrogant, like you could sort of see how maybe that could apply and that would make it offensive. They went overboard, and that's what satire is. And so I do think that it's funny. I wouldn't have made the joke. I'm not as funny as the Onion. I wouldn't have thought of the joke. But I will say that I read that LeVar Burton was against it.
Is that really why you wouldn't have made the joke? Because you don't think you're clever enough for it, or because you realize
I also
that
wouldn't have typed it.
Yeah, because it's a dumb. You know why you wouldn't have typed it? Because it's a dumb thing to tweet about a 9-year-old, even if it's a joke.
It's dumb strategically.
Yeah.
Hey, give me the strategy.
No,
the Onion has a strategy.
People are gonna have a problem with it. That makes it a bad idea.
No, I thought you meant the strategy for doing it in their normal, clever way of satirizing someone or something.
Well, look,
what are they satirizing?
So, I mean, the fact that it's juxtaposition. You take an extremely offensive word, apply it to something where it doesn't fit, and that's sort of the joke, I guess. But I will say the main reason that I wouldn't have made the joke, and that I sort of do feel like, even though my initial reaction was to laugh, I sort of feel like they shouldn't have done it. And this is something that coincidentally Jimmy Dore was talking about, is that comedy is best when it is attacking powerful people. Like that's what the purpose of comedy is. Look, she's an Academy Award nominated actress, but she's still a 9-year-old. It's not Jennifer Aniston, it's not George Clooney. Like those people can take the punches. They've already gotten their awards, they've been around the block. Like she's a little girl and this is her first time on the stage, so maybe don't call her a cunt. And
kind of historically, people of her look, her race, her background don't get accepted in Hollywood. It goes back to why blackface was a problem in the first place. So you go after a 9-year-old girl that is her first big spotlight. You think she didn't read that and go, wow. I mean, besides being offensive for everyone else, who cares? They didn't get called the name. What is this doing? Why are you attacking her? Now, if the joke was,
from their point of view, they're not attacking her.
Well, if the joke was, there was a bunch of people saying, man, I can't stand that girl. Why'd they keep showing her on the screen? Oh, I'm sick of hearing about Quvenzhané. I keep seeing if there was assholes that were doing that and then they made this joke, at least they're satirizing assholes. They just start off by being the first asshole. The reality of what they're satirizing didn't exist. They just came up with something.
I think that's what makes it Onion level ridiculous. Well, they don't talk about things that are sort of true, really. They talk about ridiculous things.
Like they'll make fun of conservatives because if they go say a Tea Party. I don't know if Onion's done a Tea Party story. I assume they must have.
I'm sure they've done that.
So at least the Tea Party exists. At least that's an entity that they're making fun of. Who are they making fun of here? Her? For getting the camera on and going like this?
It was definitely in bad taste. I didn't think it was funny. I just thought it was a bad idea. They should have thought about it more before doing it. And I see what your point is. I mean, they thought it was funny because it's so unbelievably untrue, right?
They were saying something that nobody was thinking.
Exactly. That's
what's supposed to be shocking and funny about it. Nobody was looking at her and thinking that.
Right.
Like, I actually feel the exact opposite of you. If people had actually been saying she's an asshole or something like that, I think it would be more offensive for them to joke about it. I think it's only funny because it's so ridiculous. It's like calling like your really skinny friend fat in a humorous way. It's only funny because it's not true. You would never make that joke about your friend if they were actually struggling with their weight. Look, and like I said, I wouldn't have made the joke. I feel like in hindsight they shouldn't have made the joke. It is offensive. But I'm just trying to explain what I believe was their mindset when they made it.